Karen Reed may have been back in court today, but the focus wasn't on her charges, but the conduct of the team that she's hired to defend her.
Last week, Judge Cannone abruptly ended a hearing saying she'd been given information that gave her, quote, grave concerns. Well, those grave concerns are accusations that the defense collaborated with an accident reconstruction experts and paid them ahead of the first trial. Now, the defense denied any wrongdoing, even going as far as saying they were just as surprised by that bill, by the invoice, as everyone else. So it's unclear how and when the judge will rule on these issues.
Now, NBC 10's Sue O'Connell is live for us outside the courthouse. No, it looks like she's made it home at this point. She's in the newsroom for us today. Obviously, Sue, we know the defense had to defend itself rather than Karen Reed. How did they do that with the defense throughout the morning?
Well, they presented a report, actually, Matt, a very, very lengthy report that the lawyer went through, lawyer Alessi, all the way from 11 o'clock in the morning until well after 4 o'clock in the afternoon, going step by step by step, basically alleging that prosecutor Hank Brennan was making misstatements in court, and his whole argument was based on a misstatement, and then sort of pointing out this, what I guess you would call probable deniability, right? So if I didn't tell you something and you get asked about it, or you didn't know something and you get asked about it, and you say you don't know, well, you're not lying or misstating, you just don't have the information. But then that opens the concern, well, why are there so many lawyers on Karen's team? And we know why, but if they're not all understanding what's happening at the same time, how can they accurately represent her? So there's a lot of riddle within a riddle within a riddle moments going on today. I'll tell you, it was a lot of information, but they did get up and they really did strike back at every single accusation that Hank Brennan made to them.
Not only that, but to Judge Cannone. I mean, it was done in a very legal way, but the defense basically slammed her for using those words, grave concern. We weren't in the courtroom, but you were. So what has this been like? What was that moment like?
Well, I mean, everybody, it was about the court. It wasn't just about her. It was about the system. Both sides had issues bringing up sidebars from last year in the trial, that what she said or didn't say, what she was confused about or wasn't confused. At one point, she just said, look, it's been a long day today trying to keep track of all this. But, you know, I can't tell if she was annoyed or at the whole process. A couple of times she seemed a little abrupt with the lawyers, but then would kind of back off a little bit, like saying, okay, get to the point. All right, you take your time that you need, make sure you're adequately doing your job. But at the same time, I can only imagine how she must feel having to go through all of it. I know it's her job, and that's what we want her to do, but it's a lot of information to have to kind of adjudicate here. I really don't know where we ended up at the end of the day, JC and Matt, but I know we'll be back in court next week. We can talk more about it tonight.
That's where we ended up, Sue, that they're going to be back in court Tuesday, Wednesday, and potentially even Friday. And again, this isn't the trial. This is on the motion. All right. Remember, Sue, thank you, that NBC 10 Boston is your home for the Karen Reed case. Be sure to join us for a special edition of Canton Confidential tonight at 7.